Choosing a DJ can be a confusing and even scary experience. I mean, let's face it, you have no experience in the field. Even if you did, it's still tough to identify the good ones. The single most common mistake that you as an average consumer can make is choosing a DJ based only on price. Okay, sure, price is important, but be well aware that by choosing the lowest price company, you most often get what you paid for. I can't tell you the number of times that we've received a desperate, last-minute phone call looking for a DJ to replace the cut-rate operator that had been booked for months, but now it's just either taken a better-paying job and dropped you flat, and trust me when I say that happens a lot, or maybe just decided I don't feel like working on your date. We've even had the occasional call on the actual day of the service, only to hear a pleading voice on the other end saying, "Our DJ hasn't shown up. He isn't answering his phone. Can you please send somebody immediately to bail us out?" The problem is that for an amateur part-time op, this type of sleazy business practice may not necessarily even have a long-term residual negative effect on their business, as a shady operator can just change their name every couple of years and start over, leaving their clients high and dry. Now, I'm not saying that every part-timer is a bad DJ or a crook, but the fact is, there's more opportunity for a part-timer to have a less than professional approach to your booking. So, how do you find a DJ that works for you? First of all, what's your gut reaction? Think about it for a moment. Will you feel comfortable working with them? Do they actually listen to what you have to say and address your concerns? Do you get the feeling that your success is really their number one concern? Now it's time to ask some pertinent questions. Will they work with your detailed itinerary? One of the most advantageous side benefits of an experienced wedding DJ is their ability to quarterback your evening and keep everything running on time and in order. Who else is going to do it if they don't? Well, of course, if you have the luxury of a wedding planner, they'll handle all that for you. But if you don't, a lot of times your schedule kind of lags because there's nobody to say, let's get moving. Also, do you provide professional grade equipment? Believe it or not, some DJs use a home stereo. At Creative DJ Services, we use only professional grade equipment. Do you use modern CD systems or just a Discman? A very important one, do you use a computer hard drive as your music source? Well, if so, do you have a professional CD player and selection of CDs for use if your computer crashes during my event? Because it does happen. Also, do you provide backup equipment? The last thing you need is to have the sound system blowing up in the middle of your reception. We've never experienced the pain of that happening as we carry backup mixers, disc players, and microphones. This allows both of us the luxury of relaxing in the knowledge that the show will go on. Is your equipment presented in an attractive manner, free from the signage or printed advertising that many DJ companies display to promote their company? Let's face it, you invest a lot of time, money, and expertise in transforming your room into your vision of the perfect environment for your special day. The last thing you want is for them to set up a bunch of banged up old gear and a bunch of tacky signage. Do you provide lighting in the package offered? If you're booking for an afternoon event, lighting really probably won't be necessary, as it's going to have little effect in a room that isn't dark, but in any other situation, lighting has a tremendous effect on setting the mood. Otherwise, you sometimes feel like you're dancing in a laundromat, you know? Should I be dancing or not? Another important question is there a variety of music available? Also, you're going to want to have at least some input on your music. You don't want to work with anybody who won't listen to your taste in music and develop their playlist accordingly. What about that music? Is that music licensed? Any music played is legally required to be AVLA licensed. Can we provide you with a playlist as well as a do not playlist? We encourage you to provide a must-play or do-not-play list simply because it gives your DJ more of an insight into your idiosyncratic taste in music. At Creative DJ Services, we always send our music list to you as soon as you book. That's part of our mandate to do our part in keeping your planning on track and ahead of the game. It's very important. Will the DJ play requests from our guests? We spend the time necessary to identify your likes and dislikes and maintain control over any requests to make sure they fit with your music preferences. Any good DJ has to act as your music cop. Do we receive a signed contract at the time the deposit is made? You're definitely going to want to be in position of a signed contract. It should state the total amount due, the hours of service, and any special requirements that you've agreed on between you and your vendor. For instance, if you've identified a particular DJ that you want to perform your services, Make sure that their name is included on the contract. Is the setup going to be completed to ensure that music is playing at the time that your function begins? I've seen this many times. Your guests walk in and they feel uncomfortable, wonder if they're arriving too early if they walk into a totally silent room. You don't want that. What will my DJ be wearing? Remember, pants should not be optional. A professional DJ should be wearing a jacket and a tie. There are a few dinosaurs that insist on wearing a tuxedo, but most DJs and clients agree it's a major faux pas and really extremely tacky. It also detracts from the real stars of the show, your bride and groom and the bridal party, who will in most cases be decked out in a fine tuxedo. Ask if they're a member of any DJ associations. Most professionals are members of the Canadian Professional DJ Association in Canada, or in the States, NAME or NADJ. Now, would you supply some recent references? Personally, I'd give limited credence to references for two reasons. The first, often references are a friend or relative of the DJ company, which of course renders them entirely useless. And secondly, in North America, it's almost impossible to verify whether you're receiving a true reference. Here's a little story. I was involved in a recent situation in Canada where a salesperson had been hired with a glowing reference. Well, he was fired after 6 months when they'd gathered enough documentation to verify that this individual had actually never done any work at all after the first week of shadow training. He sat around the house sending in false reports, claiming sick days, and watching TV. This weasel's former employer, who was the source of that positive recommendation, was confronted at an event later. He was asked why he'd committed such a horrendous lie. His response? Well, I felt bad about it, but we've been sued for giving an unfavorable yet deserved reference on a former employee, and we can no longer take that chance. Besides, we'd originally hired the goof on a false reference. So the bottom line is never base any decision on an unconfirmed reference. Hope this has helped you out. I'm Scott Barrett of Creative DJ Services, and I look forward to answering any questions you might have. So please give me a call or send me an email. We're Creative DJ Services, and we're more than just music.